Welcome back, everyone. My name is Shanice, and this is Obedience in Prayer. And today is Testimony Tuesday. Hi, guys. I hope you're all good. Today, I am going to testify about how God brought me to my corporate job and how I've been able to sustain and be there for now going on 10 years. So, on the last episode on Testimony Tuesday, I was sharing with you guys where I was, how I got up to being on my mom's couch, and how God ushered me into the job that I currently have. But on the last episode, I remember saying that I was on that couch. I was on that couch, listen here, for 2 months, and that was a leather couch. Do you know how unbearable that couch was? It was unbearable. It was an older couch, it was leather, and I was like, I didn't care. I was like, I was on that couch. And I remember one day my mom came home and she had this paper and it was called Strive. It was a Strive paper and it was an internship. You weren't getting paid. This was not a paid internship. This was a come to this program. They offer free certifications where you can now work to get these certifications. Come to these classes. These are the things that they're going to offer you, and it is free of charge. You're just coming as a participant and you're going to build these skills as you're here, right? Um, I looked at that paper for my mom, and I remember her saying to me, she said, I was at work today, and this woman came in with this paper. And she said it was something in her that told her she needed to bring that paper to me. And she brought the paper home to me. I remember when she first gave me that paper, I was like, yeah, whatever. The day that was on that paper, I remember that date that was on the paper, the date that she gave me the paper was the last day that I could go and apply for that program. That was the exact last day that I could have went to apply for the program. So we had a final date. The date she gave me the paper, she gave me the paper in the morning time because she had got it the evening time from work and she forgot to give it to me in the evening time. So she gave it to me in the morning time before she left for work. And that was the exact day. And I was like, oh, I don't need this. I'm not going to do it. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. The location of it was literally just 20 blocks from my house. I could take the bus straight there and back. And as I was sitting there laying on that couch, it was as if God Himself spoke to me and told me to go. To this day, I don't know if you guys read the Bible often, but Jeremiah said, when the Lord gives an instruction, it's like fire inside of your bones. I remember it was as if fire was inside of my bones. When I tell you the moment God spoke, I jumped off of that couch. I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to go. I'm going to go. I've been on the couch for 2 months. It's not like I'm doing anything, whatever. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go. So I got up, I got dressed, I took a shower, did my makeup, everything. And the location wasn't too far. So I still had enough time to get up there and sign up for this program. And I remember getting up to the program and I was talking to them and I told them my name and I wanted to sign up for this program. And they were like, oh, well, today was the last day. So it's a good thing you came today. And they were not offering you anything but a cup of noodles for lunch while you were there and a MetroCard to get there and to get back the next day. A MetroCard to get there and to get back the next day and a cup of noodles for lunch. You brought your own lunch, you brought your drinks, whatever you needed to do. And in this program, for 6 weeks. It was a 6 weeks free program, but you were building your skills for Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word. They had teachers come in. This cohort, this program, and by the grace of God, God got me into this program and God ushered me the whole way. By the grace of God, I was able to get into the program, right? And I loved my classmates. I still am friends. One of my best friends is someone from my cohort. And that was like 10 years ago. And, by the grace of God, I was able to get into that program. I learned skills. I gained certificates, CPR, Microsoft Suite. It was a lot of other certificates we got. And we had trained teachers who were trained. in teaching these things come in and teach not only intermediate but also ex- uh, uh, more experienced, advanced is what they call it, advanced, skill sets. And I gained all of my certificates while I was there. And I remember because the way the program works is they'll get you to different locations for jobs when you're done as an intern. So they have people going to restaurants, they have people going to here and there. And I remember they had a group specifically going to the hospital. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't think anything of it at first. But then I was like, okay, they had me going to a restaurant, like to go and just interview for this restaurant. And I was just like, I don't want to do this. Like, not saying I didn't go, I went to the interview, but I was just like, I don't think that this is for me. So I remember going to the person, Larry Jackson, God rest his soul, and thank God for him. Um, I remember going directly to him and I was like, hey, are there any more slots for the hospital? And he was like, yeah, I'm just trying to get get you guys in little by little into the hospital space. And I was like, okay, well, when you're sending out the next group of people, let me know. I'm interested. I want to do this. And the next time he came back, I saw him again. Now, they said there's a thin line between what is it? There's a thin line between annoyance and persistence or something like that. So it's a saying like that. I don't care if I was being annoying. Every time I saw him, hey, when is the next group of people going to the hospital? I'm interested. And he was like, okay. So I remember the last time I mentioned it to him, he was like, don't worry, girl. I got your name in there. You're in there. The date is this. I said, okay. You don't got to tell me twice. Mind you, this is now an internship into this hospital. And I get there, right? It's an $11 an hour internship. The person that I was placed under, I swear it had to be a test. It had to be a test. I took it as it had to be a test. Like, am I going to fight for it? Because, when God takes you somewhere, people think it's going to be easy peasy. From the time I got to this place, it was not easy peasy. Okay. It was not easy. Even as an intern, it wasn't easy peasy. So I got there, I got placed under this person. And at first I'm working the front desk. And well, no, I was placed under her first. And I had to help with her files. So I remember I worked with her for the first month. And it was this one particular day I came late, right? I was like 30 minutes late, I believe it was. So instead of working to my usual time, which was 4, I ended up working until 4:30 just to make up the 30 minutes. So I was like, okay, I have to go. By this time, this woman has already gave me her life story, her backstory, cried in front of me, told me a bunch of stuff. I didn't say anything. I didn't judge her. I just said, okay, and I kept working, just diligently doing what I needed to do because I'm like, I need to make sure I'm hired here permanently, right? So I remember working this day until 8 to from I got there 8:30 and I left at 4:30. The time is usually 8 to 4. I had no idea that this woman was going to take that and take it to the director at the time and try to get me fired. I remember sitting into her office and she looked at me. I won't say her name, but God is good because when God says a thing, he means that his word will not return to him void. You hear me? I remember God he just had to have spoken to that lady directly. I did nothing to the lady I was working under, nothing except for go to work, leave at the time. I made up the 30 minutes. That was it. So I sat in front of the director's office at the time and she said to me, hey, I was told this and this and this and this and this. And I explained to her what was going on. The lady was trying to get me fired. I explained to her and she said, you know what? Don't worry about it. She said, I can see that you have something over you and don't worry about it. I'm going to put you somewhere else. You will no longer have to work with this lady. I said, okay, you don't got to tell me twice. You hear me? So what I did was I was now put at the front desk. So now I'm greeting everybody. And on Mondays specifically, it's like big groups of people. So it's like 400, 500 people who are coming in to like be hired and stuff. And I'm at the front desk and I'm greeting everybody. And I'm just doing my thing, right? So now the opportunity presents itself where we can now be moved to another department to learn about another department. I said, hello, hi, hey, it doesn't matter what they want me to do, I am there. Okay. I went down to this other department and I started scanning papers. I was down there, I was the best scanner. You hear me? And my motto has always been no job is too big for me. I will leave it with my work. My work speaks for itself. I don't have to go down there and say anything. My work speaks for itself. I was scanning papers. I was just doing a little 1 2 1 2 down there scanning papers into the system because it was like a big set of files that needed to be scanned. I'm just scanning papers. I'm just interning scanning papers. And the other two people that were in my cohort, one is now my best friend, they were already downstairs before me. And the other two people were already on a different team before me. So they've been there for like a month in advance before me. And I'm down there scanning them papers away. You hear me? I don't care. I'm gonna do whatever you need me to do. So I'm assisting this team. I'm assisting that team. I'm the help, and I don't mind being the help because guess what? This is where I need to be. So I remember, I was hired as an intern in July 2026. I worked as an intern, and then I got hired as a was it a temp? I think I got hired as a temp. And then in September 2016, I got hired permanently as a specialist. And that was because of my work ethic with even scanning those papers. I was learning everything. Every person that I met down there, and I'm still love all of them, they're still my team members. I was learning everything. What do you do? Show me. What do you do? Show me. What do you do? How can I learn that? I was learning every single thing, every single system while I was a temp. While I was a temp, I was learning. I would sit next to them. I would have them tell me what they're doing, write out all my notes so that I can go and say, hey, I learned this today. How can I assist? What can I do? Right? So now I get hired as a specialist. I remember like yesterday, I will say, I always said this. I remember like yesterday, as I was hired as a specialist, my best friend at that time, she moved to another state. So we're no longer friends, but love her to death. At that time, she was sitting at work late and she heard the manager at the time tell another specialist, she's not going to come and take my job. She's not going to come and take my job. They were speaking about me, right? But I didn't come to take anyone's job. What I came to do was do the job that God sent me to do, which was to excel at the job God sent me to do, not to take anyone's job. That was never my goal, right? So I'm just working, I'm talking to everybody, I'm hee hee ha ha, but I'm also still learning at the time. And when my friend told me that, I was just like so distraught because I'm just like, oh my God, like what is going on, And the second person that was the specialist that I was speaking to, we were friends when I first got there. But I noticed with time, she started acting a little crazy, a little weird. And she started like dressing like me. She started like creating issues with me out of nowhere. She started like creating problems. And I was just like, I don't know what's wrong with this, like what is going on here, but I don't want no parts. So I distanced myself from her as a friend. And then as time went on, her and the manager were now working against me. And people would like to think, I would say, that when God places you somewhere, you won't have challenges. That's not true. You will have challenges, okay? Like Joseph, when his brothers then took him and made it seem like they killed him and they were going to kill him, and he had to sit and for 13 years where he was before he was able to move up in rank. There will be challenges where God places you. God can ordain you a place and there will still be challenges, okay? And I want you to know that. So now the manager and the other specialist is in cahoots against me. Mind you, I did nothing to this person, okay? Nothing to this person. And I am now a specialist, but I'm also seeming to gain favor with everyone around. It didn't matter what role it was, I was gaining favor with everyone because I'm like jovial, I'm talking to everybody, I'm laughing, I'm learning, I'm helping, I'm doing whatever I can because that's just who I am, right? So it ended up being a scheme that Todd set up. If you know, a scheme that Todd set up. And what happened was the specialist, whatever scheme they set up, the specialist ended up ruining her own self, where she ended up getting fired. And I remember going home some days at a time telling my mom, like, I had enough of this. I should probably quit. Like, these people are doing this and this and this, and I don't know what's going on, and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. That had an issue with me, that was creating issues with me, ended up getting fired. Well, actually, no, she didn't get fired. They told her because they caught her sleeping. So they told her, it's either you um, find another job because we don't want to fire you. So she ended up finding another job. So that problem was out of the blue, was gone. And the craziest thing about it is I remember before this situation happened, because she even lied on the manager that was her friend at the time. They were in cahoots together. She even lied on her. So they both looked crazy at that time. And I remember I had a dream before that where these two giant, like when I say giant snakes, were trying to charge me, and this man grabbed the both of them by their necks and moved them elsewhere, and they couldn't attack me anymore. So that was God letting me know ahead of time, like, hey, your enemies are taken care of. She ended up having to get, another job, because if she didn't, they were going to fire her because of the scheme that Todd had set up that she tried to do at that time. So that was God showing me, like, hey, whatever you think is going on, don't you worry about it. It's handled. So that was safe to say she was gone. So as time went on, the manager eventually, God said he'll make your enemies even at peace with you. I even became friends with my manager, not like that, but still respectful, cordial, not an issue. Um, and as time went on, I eventually was hired. As I went from a regular specialist, I was able to, because I was in the director's office every day, like, hey, money, we need some money over here. The team is underpaid. And I'm advocating for the team, like, the team is underpaid. What's going on? What's going on? So we all got increases. And then with time, I was promoted to a senior. So now I am a senior specialist, and I've been that for a while now. But this was just my small testimony to say that when God is doing a thing in your life, just because, number one, just because it doesn't look like what you think it will look like, that doesn't mean that it will not be done, right? That's number one. Number two, yes, there will be difficulties when you get to that next level, but just know that your Father has it all covered, and everything will not be peachy cream. God did not promise us that everything will be daisies and sunshine when we follow him. He did say it will be trials and tribulations, but to count it all joy. And three, God has his hands on it. He has his hands on you. And if you know that you are diligently seeking him, you are being righteous, you are being a hearer and doer of his word, and you are obeying him, he's not going to leave you or forsake you. Okay. I just need you guys to understand that he will never leave you or forsake you. He has his hand on everything that you are doing. So trust him, believe him, and he will get you through. So don't worry about that. But this was just my short testimony about how God brought me out, how he's continuing to bring me out. He's providing for me, because this job has been able to, now I work from home completely 100%, and we're never going back. And I'm able to be a mom full time also without having to send my kid off to daycare. So you see, God was steps ahead. I was in the back, just hoping and praying and wishing on a star. And he was already ahead of me, setting everything up in alignment because of what he had for me. And I'm pretty sure he has big things for me in the future, right? But I'm not stressing about those things. But what I'm gonna do now is just obey what his next step would be, and that is to share this testimony with you guys, so that you guys will be encouraged, so that you guys will know that God is never leaving you or forsaking you, and that's a promise. He is never letting up off of you, and you are his children. Okay, just continue to serve, obey. Obedience is better than sacrifice. And had I not obeyed when he told me to get up off that couch, who's to say I would be here? Okay. But this is just a small testimony with you guys on Testimony Tuesday. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Shanice, and this is Obedience in Prayer. You guys have a great day. Okay. Bye.